of what taxpayers are putting in does not build another high school.
Okay.
With that, there's currently a bond being projected out there for another school district, just for renovation of a high school at $146 million. That same school district just built a brand new high school for $146 million. Do you think that's an outrageous amount to spend for a high school?
To renovate, absolutely.
And how about for a brand new facility?
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's inflation at its best. That's people.
Have you ever built a school? How do you know that's, what do you base your answer on?
Coming from Sci-Fair, they build high schools all the time. They're one of the quickest growing districts within the state. If you go back and look historically at their records of the cost of high schools, big 2-story gorgeous high schools, not 146 million.
But they'll tell you the costs increase that much every year. And if you don't build it now, it's gonna be that much more in
10 years.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's the story there.
That's me. Oh, he took over. He took over. And you took over.
Introduce a whole new.
So we'll give you some back. You can have some of mine.
I'll go again.
Take one for Bob.
You already had mine.
Okay.
No.
Dill?
Okay. Proper balance between local and state funding. There were a couple of questions we had on that. And one of your answers said local funding coming from taxes, etc., should be lowered. If you understand how the school funding mechanisms are set up at the state level, so how would you accomplish that? Because lowering local contributions means that the school board has to either lower the appraisals or lower the tax rate. That's the only way to lower the local contribution.
The state needs to step up. They've dropped their spending and their contribution to school districts drastically.
And you know why, right?
Yes, I do. But at the same time, if we're taking our tax dollars and they're going to the county, and the county's sending it to the state, and the state's using them for other things, and not putting forth what they really should be putting towards school districts, there's a breakdown. And I know currently there is a House bill that is to increase that spending to the school districts. And I'm hoping that goes through. But they have drastically each year, slowly but surely, dwindled down.
So let's say that House bill goes through, the state comes through. Let's be generous. They doubled what they gave Magnolia last year. Are you going to cut in half what you took from the locals through property taxes? And how are you going to achieve that?
I am all for not raising taxes. If we can accomplish as we grow without raising our tax rates, yay. But I am not for raising taxes.
Okay, we're not talking about raising. You actually said local funding coming from taxes should be lower.
Yes.
So
People are being
you're
taxed
talking
out of
about-
their homes.
So if the school district is not in control of the appraisal board, the only mechanism the school district itself has is lower the tax rate. So you are actively encouraging lower tax rates.
Yes.
And that's how you would vote or whatever, or encourage. Okay. Do I still have a couple minutes? A couple seconds? Couple seconds.
What do you want to save it for next program?
Yes, I will hear it in this go around. Okay, James. Or let Larry have the glasses.
You talked about, I was going to challenge you on one thing you were talking about, which was that the state drastically reduced their funding. I'm looking at the 2018-19 general fund budget. The state program revenues was $39.8 million. And then in the 2011-12, 8 years ago, or 7, it was 38.5. So we're really only talking about a $1 million. That going down is going up $1 million. When you say they've drastically cut, Now admittedly, your local has gone from 40 million to 62. But they haven't really cut, have they? I mean, you're getting $1 million more than you did 7 years ago. So how has the state cut the money? In what way has their money been reduced? Because it doesn't look like it.
I'm gonna explain it in the way I explained it to my husband today.
Sure.
You have a gallon of milk. Gallon of milk used to be 99 cents. It's now $3 a gallon. Used to be 99 cents could get you a gallon of milk. Now 99 cents cannot get you a gallon of milk. When you have the cost of living inflation, but no adjustment on what you're bringing home, it doesn't balance out. You have to grow the cost of living. So it's the same thing as the school district or the state. If they're not changing what they're contributing, so that one difference in $1 million over a period of how long? 7 years?
Yeah.
It's $1 million.
So you're saying they haven't reduced it, they just haven't increased it enough.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Bob?
So while we're on funding, and you're talking about people getting taxed out of their houses, the only way they get taxed out of their houses is because of property taxes. There was a bill put forward during the last legislative session, hopefully in this one, I haven't even looked, to do away with property taxes and to increase the sales taxes. Do you think that's a wise move or not?
I think that the last I saw, there was a bill that was put forth to limit the increase on property taxes to where they could only increase it 1% to 2% per year. I'm all for when the appraisal district comes in and appraises, say a mobile home. When the appraisal goes up instead of down, mobile homes don't appreciate in value, they decrease in value. So explain to me where that inflation is on a mobile home and why my property taxes are going up, right? My property value is staying the same. My house is going up. I don't fully agree with raising sales taxes. I can see it to a certain degree. But I know with property values, as our district grows, as our county grows, we're obviously going to see an increase in those just because of additional businesses coming in, additional homes being built, what have you. Does it make it right? No.
So we're back to servitude to the government, which when we got our independence from England, one of the things that we did was to get away from the king owning all of the properties. We're back to that same position now, where the king, the government, owns everything that we have. So did we really win our independence?
No. Not really.
We know that we need taxes.
But you gotta limit those taxes.
You have to limit the taxes, granted, but you also have to limit some of the other things that we've talked about, or you've talked about earlier. During the period of time in that seven years, we've seen an increase in administration, which is taking the money back away from where it was supposed to go anyway. Do you feel that a business, a privately owned business or a corporation can operate under the same guidelines that the school districts are operating as far as administration and teachers?
I think it's great if you want a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians.
Right? Can you do that with a private company?
No, I mean, I don't think it's wise for anybody to do it that way.
So school districts should be run
More like a business.
more like a business rather than,
Absolutely.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
We've got time for one or two more.
Just one, just more information thing. You were talking about the Magnolia School has the constables in there all the time, and that's good for security, and you'd like to see the doors have a thing on them. Are you aware of Steve Toth, our representative's bill that is trying to get it all coordinated together. That's all I got.
Okay, you mentioned in here that you were working with Representative Caligiuri and disposing of the STAR test. Was that over in South Africa?
It was.
Okay, Bill Caligiuri, okay,
Yes, sir.
good friend, old friend. So did you guys have any luck?
We
on
did
that
not.
At all?
None.
Was there anybody that was helping y'all in the legislature at all?
He was ready to put forth a bill to dissolve the STAR test, but the bill did not pass.
Okay. Have you tried that again at all? Maybe Toth?
Maybe, hopefully, would be nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I got. We're at 6:20, and why don't we go ahead and we'll do your closing, up to 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up.
Anything particular you want in the closing?
Just whatever you want to say to close out.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for being with me today. I appreciate it. I would like to say some of the things that I did not cover in the questionnaire were STAR testing. I am very opposed to STAR testing. I think it takes away the educational rights of our children. Our kids are taught to test, and that's a problem. We need to go back to old school values of our kids learning and our teachers getting to teach for the love of teaching. Kids are being cheated by all the tests. DCA, District Common Assessment, regular test every day, amount of projects they have every single day, STAR tests, SAT, ACT, TSI, you name it. They are being taught to test. I firmly believe that STAR testing needs to go. Another thing that I would like to mention is that, and I think you brought it up best, schools should be run like a business. There are Fortune 100 companies that work just fine, making millions of dollars a year without having 15 levels of leadership. Maybe if school districts took on more of the business plan, they could see a lot of success. So, in closing, that's it, and I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.